Thanks a lot, guys, and welcome to Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And a cacophony, a din of Tide pride today. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. Another sellout here in Tuscaloosa as they've won 66 straight games against unranked opponents. Today they welcome the Colorado State Rams into town out of Fort Collins, some 1,400 miles away, taking on the Crimson Tide undefeated at 2-0. A few moments before kickoff, Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore. I'm back.
Thank you.
Survived Hurricane Irma. Back down on the field, Quint Kesnick joining us in just a bit. Rod, when you look at Alabama, they come in undefeated 2-0. Everybody knows about their Heisman quarterback candidate, Jalen Hurts, but they have one of two receivers we'll see today in Calvin Ridley, who is able to impact the game like few guys can.
We've all seen Calvin Ridley. We've seen him in the big games. He's arguably the best receiver in the SEC. He's done it for a couple of years. He's simply outstanding. He knows the big stage. What you don't know about is Michael Gallup. And Michael Gallup is a young man who would like to get the kind of attention that Calvin Ridley is getting. He burst on the scene last year as a JC transfer and had a fantastic season. He's off to a great start this year, but this is his opportunity. A big stage against Calvin Ridley and possibly the best defense in college football.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Colorado State handles this crowd here. It's a very intimidating place to play. Quint Kesnick has more downstairs.
Mark, there's no quarterback controversy here in Tuscaloosa. Jalen Hurts is 16-1 as a starter, the sophomore, trying to work on his downfield passing game and his pocket passing, and Coach Nick Saban hopes for improvement. We may see a very talented freshman, though, Tua Tagovailoa, #1 dual-threat quarterback out of Hawaii. He played a bunch of snaps last week against Fresno State, and a lot of people locally said, "Oh, we got two quarterbacks. What's going on here?" Well, the reality is Alabama lost 3 quarterbacks to transfer within the last year. They only have 2 scholarship quarterbacks on their roster. Saban wants to get the young freshman reps. It's as simple as that.
All right, Quinn, yeah, he was pretty impressive last week in his limited snaps. There's a look at Jalen Hurts, the team's leading passer as well as the team's leading rusher, had 154 yards on the ground last week as they defeated Fresno State here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama winning the toss, electing to receive. Look at Nick Saban in his 10th year on the sidelines here at Alabama. Has won 4 national championships. Of course, when you talk about Alabama, the expectations always sky high. And the thoughts, sometimes you just can't help it. It's not about the opponent. It's about national championship number 17.
Well, it's about the standard that they've set, and Saban has preached that all week. It's not about Colorado State. It's about finding an identity and playing to Alabama's standard. And he doesn't feel like they did that last week.
Saw Mike Bobo, the opposing coach from Colorado State, former SEC player at Georgia. This is Ruggs. Going to take a knee. It'll come back out to the 25-yard line. First down and 10 for Jalen Hurts. Starting quarterback, and a lot of talk this year about Hurts and his passing ability, or lack thereof. In the game against Florida State a couple of weeks ago, he was 10 of 18 passing, 96 yards, and then last week an efficient 14 of 18, but still looking for development in the passing game, Rob.
Well, a lot of things impacted all of that, and we'll get to some of that, including the passing attack, and it's not all on Jalen Hurts.
First down and 10. Hurts keeps it, and he gets a first down, a gain of about 14 yards. Got a nice block from Pierce Baker up front.
Well, first of all, Jonesy, he's an efficient quarterback. He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year last year, and that hasn't changed. He can still run the ball great. He has good touch on deep passes, but the issue has been that they haven't gotten many yards passing so far this season.
And several different reasons why. We'll talk about that later. Wide open, Harris out of the backfield, makes the catch and has another first down for Alabama into Colorado State territory at the 42-yard line. Kevin Nutt Jr. making the stop for the Rams, a pickup of 17.
Yeah, and that's a good start for him to see that. But remember, they've had issues protecting him on deep passes, knocked around a little bit. He has not thrown a pick. He's been very solid so far this year, except for the big numbers on passing.
Ridley in motion. The handoff goes to Harris. Harris was the team's leading rusher a season ago. Averaged a little over 7 yards per carry. But back to quarterback Jalen Hurts. Rod, you know, it's bigger than football sometimes. Everybody knows about Hurricane Harvey and Irma subsequent to that. And that quarterback right there has a family in Houston. And he was playing with a very concerned and heavy heart for several days last week. But the good news is that everybody is safe and sound. 2nd down and 7. Hurts keeps it himself and close to another first down, half a yard short. Pierce Baker with another good block. He picked up 6.
Obviously, Houston, state of Florida, a number of places impacted with weather. I mean, you went through it yourself.
Yes.
You know, thank goodness families are doing okay, bouncing back. And he was certainly worried about his family, but they're fine.
Played high school football in Houston for his dad. 3rd and 1, Ridley in motion. They give it to Harris, made a nice cut, and keeps those legs moving the pile about 3 yards. Nutt and Fogel came along for a little ride. And an 8-yard gain for Damian Harris.
That's going to be a challenge for the Colorado State defense. These running backs at Alabama are huge. You know, Harris is one of the smaller ones at 216. Runs really hard.
First down and 10 on the Crimson Tide's opening drive. Hurts. Still loose. Touchdown, Tide. Brush that dirt off.
You know, Jonesy, it's awfully hard to tell a guy that talented to stay in the pocket and look for your 2nd and 3rd receiver when you can do this. Watch him here. He takes one look down there, and all of a sudden he says, you know what? I got a lane. Am I supposed to stay here or just walk this thing into the end zone?
Wow.
Good choice.
Sure was, Rod. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. 16th of his career, in Alabama up 7-0 in less than 3 minutes. There's a reason why they haven't lost to a non-conference opponent here at home in 10 years. Hurts putting a hurt on Colorado State. Alabama with a 75-yard impressive opening drive, eclipsing less than 3 minutes on the clock, and Jalen Hurts with another rushing touchdown and a couple of big runs during that drive.
You seem surprised.
You know, Rod, he just makes it look very easy sometimes, which is shocking.
Yeah, and I get, you know, folks are a little concerned about the downfield passing, but what a weapon when he takes off.
That's Dietrich Clark for the Colorado State Rams back deep. Takes it on the goal line. Clark going to bring it out. Weaves his way out to the 23 as we go back to Chris in the studio.
You don't want to go back to the locker room or film session after that. There's a rule, Jonesy, and Chris Carter knows it. Deep is the deepest. Wide is the widest.
He wasn't listening.
Ouch.
First down and 10 for Colorado State from the 24-yard line. That's Michael Gallup in motion. Keep an eye on him today. They'll move him around, try and get the ball to him. He makes the first catch on the first play. It'll be Stevens to Gallup a lot tonight, a popular refrain, as Fitzpatrick makes the stop on the play. There's a look at the numbers on starting quarterback. Keep in mind, he was a 2-time all-conference quarterback, and yet he was benched a year ago after the first game of the season. I'll tell you more after this play. Dawkins in the backfield. That's Gallup in motion to the bottom of your screen. Now he sets. Dawkins on the carry, lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. He came back in, Stevens did, after being benched for several weeks. And the only reason he got another chance, Rod, was because the starter blew his ACL out.
Well, as you mentioned, you know, he opened that season last year as a starter, he was 6 of 20, and they benched him and sat for weeks.
And he credits that time on the sidelines to him becoming a better quarterback when he returned.
You trying to say that he took an L, but he bounced back?
Oh, that's the way it goes. 3rd down and 8. Gets it out quickly, complete. But it's going to be short of the first down by about 4 yards to Dietrich Clark. Quint?
Well, special teams has always been a big emphasis of Nick Saban. This Alabama punt coverage team blocked a punt against Florida State. Now, keep in mind, Colorado State last week had a punt blocked against Abilene Christian for a touchdown. What's key here, snap to kick in 2 seconds. If it's longer than that, Jonesy, they're flirting with disaster.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Damian Harris was the guy that has blocked the punt this year. There he is, number 34. Rollout rugby-style kick by Stonehouse is a great one. It will carry all the way down, out of bounds, right at the 5-yard line. Q, you couldn't have drawn that one up any better, right, Rod?
Absolutely.
A 65-yard punt. And that's where Hurts will take over on the second drive.
Well, you saw his opening drive. Great blocking up front. Got a huge hole. On that drive, he went for 47 yards on the ground. That offensive line also great job with getting Harris an opportunity. And, of course, there was the 23-yard run to finish it off.
Mentioned last week, he had 154 yards on the ground against Fresno State. Right now we're going to get a look at Bo Scarborough in the backfield. He's to the right of Hurts. And Scarborough running hard between the tackles. Boy, Rod, you mentioned the size of those Alabama tailbacks. Scarborough at 235, Harris at 221. You can see it when they move the pile like that.
Yeah, these are big, big backs, and they're in a bit of a competition. They haven't found a featured back yet, haven't found their identity like they've had in the past.
2nd down and 2. Scarborough takes the handoff again, and this time Colorado State with a nice play defensively. Close to the first down. Let's go down to Quint for more on the backs.
Yeah, Mark, you mentioned the size. I watched practice on Thursday. There were 2 positional groups that jumped off the page at me. Their D-line is just enormous. And then this quartet of running backs. I mean, all NFL prototypical bodies, pushing each other in practice on a daily basis. And they should be fresh when the season starts maturing in October and November.
And you think it'd be easy for them to get a yard here on 3rd and short. Scarborough gets the call. A yawning hole up the middle, and he tells you it's a first down. Schlager making the stop, but an 8-yard gain for Scarborough.
There's nothing fancy about it. Just firing out with the offensive line, driving guys 3 yards, 4 yards off the line of scrimmage. And then at 235, pretty easy to just kind of get through there and pick up another couple more.
And remember, he just went over 1,000 yards for his career. Hurts over the middle, caught. Ridley. Goodbye. Cash money touchdown. 78 yards.
Well, Jonesy, all week Colorado State and their coaching staff talked about coming in here and handling the first 7-8 minutes of the game. That was important. Not to be intimidated, not to let the environment get to you. Well, they haven't.
Yeah. Ridley got turned loose, and he cashes in 78 yards, a career-long pass. Well, they wanted to get some big plays in the passing game, Rod Gilmore. I think this qualifies as one.
It's not too shabby, is it? You got a quarterback who knows how to deliver the football, and you run an inside route against man coverage, wide open, and that man, he's not going to be caught from behind.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. And the all-new Mazda CX-5. Driving matters.
Well, the festivities and the revelry began early here in Tuscaloosa. And Jalen Hurts with another touchdown drive. They're up 14-0 on that 78-yard pass to Calvin Ridley a moment ago. Rod, before I could ask you, how does Colorado State weather the storm early in this ball game? They find themselves down 14-0. Here's Clark. And Clark is going to be wrestled down at the 22. What was the key on that touchdown pass?
Well, let's go back and see what Jalen Hurts did. Nice read by him. Now watch this safety here. Hurts is actually reading that safety with a little bit of a run pass option here. See him come up? Now he knows he's got him in the middle there with that fake. Safety's out of position, not involved. He can put it right on the money against man coverage, and Ridley does the rest. Great job by Hurts actually reading that correctly, and Ridley coming with his career-long touchdown pass from Hurts.
Boy,
that'll bump up your numbers.
Yes, it will. Came into the game as not only the team's leading passer, but rusher. That one almost picked off. Incomplete. Alabama jumping that well. Ronnie Harrison there to break it up. It was intended for Michael Gallup. 2nd down and 10 coming up for Colorado State. Rod, how badly, as we look at Ridley on the sidelines, how badly does Colorado State need a first down right now?
Well, they need to stay on the field first and foremost. They need a couple first downs, give their defense a chance to catch their breath and to have some life. Right now, they don't have any.
Dalen Dawkins in the backfield. Line up in a 2-back set, I formation. Adam Prentice, the fullback. And a little old school football there. It's an ISO lead play, but nothing doing. Minkah Fitzpatrick, along with Deshaun Hand, making the stop, Quint.
Mark, Mike Bobo, the head coach of Colorado State, spent the entire summer looking at the last 7 or 8 years of film against Alabama. He went back to see what teams had success, who moved the ball against them, why and how. Teams like Florida State, Clemson, etc. Well, so far, that film is yielding little results.
Yeah, sure looks like it so far. 3rd and 10. Pass is incomplete. Broken up by Levi Wallace, who moved into the starting cornerback position this week. Cameron Butler was the intended receiver, and a 3-and-out for Colorado State, Rod.
Well, just getting back to Q's point, this is a tough matchup because Colorado State wants to be a 2-back team. They want to run the football. You can't do that against Alabama. I mean, they're so big and strong up front, they take away the rushing attack. Trying to establish the run against them first is not going to work. They've got to find a way to move people around and throw the ball, maybe the screen game.
Well, Alabama came with a little bit of heat. On the return, this is Trayvon Diggs, and Diggs going to be tackled at the 39-yard line. Good starting field position on the 3rd possession for Alabama. 57-yard punt, 9 on the return.
Me, B. Keller Bryant.
I'm going to every game trying to win it.
Bad man.
Lamar Jackson lunges and scores.
Here's Bryant. Beautiful throw and catch.
The kid is ridiculous.
Great game tonight, starting in a little bit on ABC. Louisville and Clemson. And speaking of quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts in for his 3rd drive now. Off to a pretty good start, a touchdown pass and a touchdown run already. 9th game with at least one of each.
Look who he's tied with, Lamar Jackson.
I'd take either one of those guys.
Yeah, you wouldn't be disappointed.
Ridley in motion. Harris in the backfield, and another complete pass to Calvin Ridley, who told us earlier he wanted to get those numbers up to back to where they were during his freshman year when he was a freshman All-American. Picks up 12 there.
Well, he admitted he's a wide receiver. He's a diva. He says all game long he's in the ear of his quarterback and his coordinator saying, get me the ball. I got this.
Had that big touchdown catch against Florida State for 53 yards in their victory in the 1st game of the season. Harris on the toss. Harris with another nice gain of about 6 yards. New offensive coordinator this year in Brian Dable, Rod, but the Tide not skipping a beat. What kind of differences do you see in what they do last year versus this year, if any?
Well, clearly they throw the ball to the backs a little bit more, but I don't think they found their identity, and we asked him about that yesterday, and he said, yeah, they're trying different things to figure out exactly who they will be. as this season goes along.
Former tight ends coach with the New England Patriots. 2nd down and 4. Harris on the catch. And another first down at the 35-yard line as we go down to Quint.
Yeah, Rod, it looks like it's a lot of the New England Patriots matchup-based throwing game and some of their route progressions and patterns with zone read in the backfield. That's kind of what it looks like from down here. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's right, although Tom Brady doesn't do any of the quarterback run game stuff.
No.
So they have that part that New England doesn't.
First down and 10. 4 receivers out, and the handoff is to Harris again. Cuts it back and gains about 3. Interesting comments by Brian Dable, the new offensive coordinator, after all that time in the National Football League. He said that, I enjoy working here for Nick Saban in Tuscaloosa because, like the pros, it's a professional type atmosphere. The expectations are so enormous, and he's very comfortable with that. Ruggs in motion. Harris again taking his time, but chopped down just inside the 30 by Josh Watson, the leading tackler for the Rams defensively, but a gain of 4.
Well, you mentioned Dabo. He was Nick Saban's graduate assistant like 20 years ago, and then spent most of his career working with Bill Belichick. So, I mean, he knows how to work with perfectionists. He was brought up that way by starting out with Nick Saban, and so he's comfortable in an environment with very high expectations.
Third down and 3. Hurts up top. Ridley couldn't get there. A little bit of an overthrow, and Anthony Hawkins there, stride for stride. It's going to set up a 4th down and 3.
I'm not so much that was an overthrow as much as it was a good job by Hawkins. He got his hands on Ridley and slowed him up, which kept him from getting down the field. So that's a pretty good defensive play, and this is kind of a good stop for Colorado State to keep him out of the end zone.
Field goal time from 46 yards out. Papanas. A line drive right through the pipes. And Alabama up 17-0. A career-long field goal for Andy Papanas. Back after this. Well, Allstate is proud to contribute to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. A packed Bryant-Denny Stadium, this venerable edifice, the home of the Crimson Tide and their 16 national championships. And the place is already popping. Home team up 17-0. Dietrich Clark back deep for the Rams. He'll take a knee. It'll come out to the 25. And folks, ESPN's Monday Night Football matchup featuring the Lions and the Giants. Our coverage beginning with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 6 Eastern on ESPN. Spanish language coverage of the game is available on ESPN2. And I'm still getting over that mad loot, that cheese that Matthew Stafford signed for recently.
Yeah, well, he deserves it. I mean, last one
Never
who
won a
signs gets the
playoff
most
game.
money.
Still waiting for that playoff win.
Last one who signs gets the most money.
Yeah. Dalen Dawkins in the backfield. Colorado State trying to get some offense going here. Little contact down the sideline and a flag thrown as Michael Gallup was working against Anthony Averett. Going to get into the look at this.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 28. 15-yard penalty.
This could be the kind of thing that gets Colorado State started. There's the left hand grabbing and pulling, made it look as if that he was preventing Gallup from getting the other hand up to that. So that's a fair call. And
Coming from you, Rod?
Yeah, it's a fair. I mean,
I'm going to believe that.
You got your hand on the guy, you're going to get flagged. Okay. Certainly when he's trying to jump.
Man, that's a clip and save for my partner, for me. DB,
first
flagged.
time ever pass interference legitimate.
1st and 10. That was their first down of the ball game as Izzy Matthews gets his first touch, a gain of about 6. You know, during a recent break, Nick Saban likes to get involved, and we'll get a look at what his involvement was in a moment. Likes to talk to the defense. This time Matthews with nowhere to go. Anthony Averett, who was the culprit on that pass interference call a moment ago, making the tackle for Alabama.
Yeah, you know, the rushing attack is going to be an issue. Of course, they've got to try and stay with it. I just think in terms of making some plays like on a 3rd and 6 here, where's your screen game? And how do you move Gallup around? You got to get Gallup into a position where he's not getting bumped at the line of scrimmage.
Gallup right now split to the bottom of your screen there, it looks like. Haven't heard from Olabisi Johnson. He's usually a favorite target, and there he is on cue. They're going to mark him down 2 yards short of the first down. Fitzpatrick chopped him down with a nice tackle.
It's a good tackle.
Was he down?
He's down. Ooh. Well, it looks like elbow was down. Elbow was down, and that's why you see the mark. Elbow was down.
4th and 2, and it looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down.
Look at that elbow. Elbow's completely on the ground. He's down.
4th and 2, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, I'd kick it away here. You're playing with fire right now. You kick this away and pin them down. At least you give your defense something to fight with. You turn this over on downs right here.
Little play fake. Incomplete, and Alabama takes over on downs. Intended for Johnson, but Stevens' pass was way high.
You know, Jonesy, you have to play and coach like you think you're going to play 4 quarters. You can't win the game on that down. You can't possibly win it, but you can lose it. You may have lost the game right here because now your defense is back out there. You're down 17. You give them a short field. I mean, I would have quickly kicked that thing, try to give them a long field, get some confidence. Now, here comes Hurts. You got a problem.
And he has been on fire in the early part of the game as a rushing and a throwing touchdown. Bo Scarborough in the backfield to the left of Hurts. Ridley in motion. Ridley. Boy, a lot of running for 2 yards, brought down finally by Jamal Hicks. It was interesting. You talk about the development of the passing game, Rod. In that first game against Florida State, Ridley was the only wide receiver to make a catch. The rest of them were running backs, but there was improvement from game 1 to 2 against Fresno State last week.
Yeah, I mean, most of the passes have gone to Ridley. The others have gone to the running backs. I mean, the other receivers haven't really touched the ball that much.
And talking about Foster and Sims. Comes to the short side of the field, and as we mentioned, Sims, he makes the catch close to the first down, a yard short, picking up 7.
Confidence throws. We've seen a deep throw. We've seen the quick 3-step throws. This is all building confidence for Hurts.
Jalen Hurts attending the Peyton Manning Passing Academy during the offseason, working on his skills and his fundamentals. 3rd and 1. Scarborough in the backfield. Scarborough putting a little bit of muscle in his hustle for the first down. Picked up 2 and moves the chains for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, that's frustrating for Colorado State because they actually played that play, you know, pretty well. But you've got that big guy coming through, 230 pounds. He's going to fall forward for a yard. It's first down, and, you know, you're on your heels a little bit.
And Scarborough seems to have fully recovered from that broken leg that he suffered in the national championship game. Another opportunity here, but collared for a gain of about 2 on the play by Ellison Hubbard. Scarborough, 6'2", 235.
Well, Hubbard does a great job on the bottom of the screen, setting the edge, getting out there. Look at that. That's a good play. I mean, you got to set the edge and force things back inside, and that's the first time they've really done it very well.
Second down and 8. Hurts with plenty of time. And wisely throws it away. Good coverage that time by the Rams. Sets up a 3rd down and long.
Yeah, that's a smart decision. He didn't have anything there. He threw the ball away. You know, we've talked about him in the whole passing thing. And I said early on, he's been efficient. His quarterback rating was 82.7, 15th in the country after 2 games. Now, it means he didn't have a lot of yards, but he was smart with the football. He ran it well. He took care of it, didn't turn it over. So he's been an efficient quarterback.
He'll tell you, if you're willing to listen, all it's about is the W at the end of the game. Hurts with time again, running out of real estate, and falls forward to the line of scrimmage. So the Rams defensively get a rare stop here early in the game with under a minute to go in the first quarter.
And they desperately needed that. And they helped their coach out dramatically, because that decision to go for it on 4th down doesn't blow up in their face, because the defense gets a stop here and keeps them in it.
Mike Bobo, the former player at Georgia, knows Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama's competition extremely well. And during his weekly news conference, he was saying that his team's not going to be intimidated coming in here. And now Alabama going to try a field goal. J.K. Scott, who they like to use on the longer field goals. They get him set. Had enough leg, but pushed it to the right. So after Papanos made a 47-yarder, Scott misses from 52 yards out. And the Rams will take it. Well, kick off your NFL Sunday with ESPN in our new countdown crew at a new time. Samantha Ponder and the NFL Countdown crew kicking off the day at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Also streaming live on the ESPN app.
Sam left us.
She did?
Yeah.
She did. He's gone. And
she's NFL now.
Congrats. Same per diem, though.
Yeah, she'll be great.
And nowhere to go between the tackles for Izzy Matthews. Deshaun Hand making the tackle with a little company from Deron Payne, and that's going to be the end of the first 15 minutes of play. Jalen Hurts doing it with his legs and with his arm.
And the smell of burgers. Away is always having home field advantage, even when you're miles away from home. Find your away. For a dealer in the RV that's right for you, visit GoRVing.com.
What an unlikely football journey it has already been. From Firebaugh, California, in the valley of the San Joaquin, nobody offered him. So to Reedley Community College, Wyoming says not only we'll offer you, we think that you can be the leader of our program and lead a Wyoming football resurgence. And that's exactly what Josh Allen did last year, his first as a starter. He was injured 2 years ago. He's only played 1 year as a starter. Finally a touchdown on the board to make it 14-7. Touchback. Please help those affected by disasters. Visit redcross.org for more information. And in our visit with Willie Taggart this week, question number 1 is, how is all of his family doing in Florida? I'm happy to report that everyone is doing fine in the Taggart family. And I'll tell you what, with Willie Taggart at Oregon, it's 2 games in. They're 2-0. That's a very good start. We know they didn't score in the second half against Nebraska. But Willie Taggart has already brought his stamp to this football program.
without question, he's changed the culture, and you can see it on film, particularly on the defensive side. The way that they run to the football and up front on the offensive line, there's a physicality that hasn't been here at Oregon for a while.
There's an injured Cowboy down. We're waiting to make sure we have it 100%. Adam Pillipil, the junior linebacker from Torrance, California. We saw Jalen Ortiz, the Sam linebacker, go down earlier. Pillipil able to get back up and head to the sideline. Oregon had short fields its first 2 possessions. Turned those into touchdowns by Royce Freeman. Now they have it at their own 25, and we'll see if the Wyoming defense can finally show up. Benoit's in the backfield. Here's a handoff to Nelson on the sweep, and he is ridden down by the guy they call Dewey, Andrew Wingard. And Nelson is slow getting off. The fleet of foot, Charles Nelson, slow getting back up for the Ducks.
You see Andrew Wingard from that backside coming across. Is just a simple fly sweep. Does a good job coming up, but he's a little bit slow to get up and holding on to that that right lower extremity. Looks to be in some pain here.
Big weapon out for the Ducks. 2nd and 8. Backing up, setting up the screen. It's incomplete. Bringing up 3rd down. Incomplete on the screen with Nelson on the sideline. The Ducks facing 3rd and 8.
Well, it would be fitting. The special teams did their job, got a turnover. The offense scores. Now it's a turn for this defense with 8 returning starters. It was 10th in the Mountain West Conference a year ago to make some noise here, and the crowd's on their feet trying to help.
That was the first incompletion for Justin Herbert. They've been perfect on 3rd down so far.
I like this. They're showing blitz. They may drop out. Herbert's getting rid of the football so quickly. I think bailing out and trying to confuse them is the move here.
On 3rd and 8, pressured and sacked at the 21. The football is out. The football is loose. Granderson gets home on Herbert. Sorting out the bottom of the pile, waiting for the official signal.
Wyoming only brought 4 and got home, Carter.
David Alvarez and they still haven't signaled. Herbert and the offense still out there. It's 4th down. Here it is.
It's a fumble recovered by the defense.
There it is. Wyoming football without a signal. Cowboys football. The 2nd turnover by Oregon if it stands. Granderson brought the pressure, forced the fumble. Prosser got on top of it.
They're going to run a game over here. It's a simple stunt. The last thing you can do as an offensive lineman is let somebody get to your hip. Great job by Malaulu. And it's Granderson that comes around. This offensive line that's been so good finally gets home. They said that they wanted to test Herbert. He hasn't been hit at all this year. Wyoming defense brought 4 players and found a way to get Justin Herbert onto the ground and created a huge turnover. That is the style of play that head coach Craig Bohl was talking about in his office with us yesterday. He was really excited about this unit.
And the previous play, as expected, is under review. And this is the sole discretion of the replay official, Rich Cullen, in the booth here at the stadium. So this is his call. And I think at the bottom of the pile to say you're going to somehow find indisputable video evidence in the middle of that pile, I mean, is on the recovery. But step 1, is it a fumble? Is Herbert's backside down?
It's down. It's not a fumble. I think this is going to be overturned. It's certainly a sack and a heck of a play. But to me, it looked like Herbert goes down. He's in control of the ball. And it's when he hits the ground and that left elbow hits, that's when the ball dislodges. I think this is going to be overturned, and Oregon's going to have a chance to punt it here.
I think this is a tough one to find a clear picture on, because, I mean, you don't know where the football's out there. Again, the ruling on the field is fumble recovered by Wyoming after a long discussion on the field.
need definitive evidence to be able to.
Well, Taco Bell is a proud partner of College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. And there is a very zealous group here in Tuscaloosa that follows their team.
They pack a few people in this place, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Part of the reason why you can pay a Colorado State $1.5 million to come in here in a guarantee game.
Ah, paycheck game.
Out of bounds will be a flag. It'll come out to the 35-yard line as Davis couldn't keep it in play for Colorado State.
You know, you mentioned
kick out of bounds on the kicking team, number 10. The ball be placed by rule on the 35-yard first down.
You mentioned Colorado State receiving $1.5 million to play this game, so-called paycheck game. There are 7 or 8 other games like that across the country this weekend. Yeah, Nick Saban said he's not a big fan of these types of games. He says he thinks that the Power 5 teams ought to play the Power 5 teams, and one of the reasons is he'd like to see the SEC play 9 conference games, and I don't blame him. He's bothered by the fact that he's got guys who come to Alabama, and they don't play every SEC team during their career. Yeah. They miss a bunch of them because they don't have conference games. They have these types of games.
Yeah, you could go your whole 4 years, he said, and not play against the team from the East, not play against a Florida or a Georgia. As Hurts keeps it, gains about 6 yards. Back to the whole guarantee game issue, Rod, in the Power 5 conferences against the non-power conferences. Sometimes, though, the squirrel gets that nut. Once in a while, Northern Illinois today beating Nebraska. They got that cheese, collecting $820,000 and got the W, too.
And the win.
Yeah. 2nd and 4. This is Najee Harris, out from your part of the country, out in the Bay Area. The #1 overall recruit out of high school a season ago.
Yeah, he was spectacular back in the Bay Area. He ran for more than 2,700 yards as a senior. He had one game where he ran for 396 yards.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, he was the talk of the Bay Area. Antioch is in the East Bay, a little bit east of Berkeley.
Boy, that really speaks to as Najee Harris stopped up that time. Good tackle in the middle by Josh Watson. And looks like he's going to be about 2 feet short.
It's a really good tackle. That's Watson getting in there low and hanging on. And there's the stretch at the end.
He might have been down. His knee was down before that. So it sets up a 4th down and 1. And hey, the Rams defensively get another stop here, bringing in J.K. Scott.
How about that defense? Colorado State last 2 series, you know, getting a little tough there, getting some stops. Seems like they're over the uncertainty.
Yeah, that early blitzkrieg. High punt by Scott comes down to the 15 to Olabisi Johnson. And it's going to be 1st down and 10 from the 15 after that 41-yard punt. See if Stevens can lead him down the field again.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Start game day strong with the new Breakfast Hash Brown Scramble Bowl. And PlayStation View. Watch the biggest moments in sports. Try it free today.
Some esteemed alumni at Colorado State. Amy Van Dyken there a moment ago. Former head coach Sonny Lubick. And saw Joey Porter, WNBA legend, and San Antonio Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammond. Right now the Rams down 17-3, but they were able to move the ball in the last drive, and it says a lot about Nick Stevens. Talked to the coaches about him, and yeah, very complimentary about his whole vibe and his whole disposition, his demeanor under center. Very cool. They said that he wouldn't be rattled here today. Hands it off the body as we go back to Chris Cotter. All right, Chris Boyd, what about that finish, Rod, in the Florida-Tennessee game we saw a moment ago? Still getting over how that DB gave up that long pass.
Tennessee benefited from a Hail Mary last year.
That's right.
Got bit by it this year.
Great point. 2nd and 9. Stevens wide open, complete to Gallup, and he breaks a tackle in the open field. Gallup still on his feet and into Alabama territory. A first down. Fitzpatrick finally bringing him down, but you see the big playability of Gallup. A 39-yard gain.
Well, you'll see they ran a blitz from that side, and Stevens recognized it right away as Gallup got down the side. He's a tough guy, finishes the run there, but that blitz they recognized right away and got the ball out to Gallup.
First down and 10. Between the tackles down to Rashad Body. Let's go down to Quint.
Yeah, Mark, Alabama trying to be multiple there defensively. They go single high safety, as Rod said. They bring the heat. Jeremy Pruitt recognizes that Stevens sees it and is going to audible to something good. Alabama tries to bail out, but it's too late, and Gallup's wide open. And that is symbolic of week 3 with a young defense.
And you talk about Stevens, Jonesy, calm and cool. Yeah. That California vibe. He just doesn't get rattled, and part of that goes back to, he handled the benching that he got so well. Didn't get rattled, just went to work. Just started grinding and wanted to be ready when he got his opportunity.
Yep.
And they, you could call him Sunshine.
First charge timeout.
Just like in the movie?
Yeah, Ronnie Bass from Remember the Titans. Just call him Sunshine.
Rod, I'll tell you one thing. There's no sunshine on that Alabama sideline right now for Jeremy Pruitt, the defensive coordinator. But Lewis and Miller, a couple of linebackers out for the season. This is a patchwork defense, Rod.
Yeah, you go back and think about how they started the year, and they had a lot of depth. And they started getting banged up. Jennings is out. Miller banged up. Lewis out. You saw him on the sideline. Evans not playing tonight. And then their freshman linebacker was really good. Moses also out tonight. So you got a lot of young guys out there in the Alabama defense. They've done a decent job, but depth is going to be challenged. A lot of experience not in there for Alabama tonight.
2nd and 6. Running between the tackles again. That's Buddy. Quinn, I don't think anybody feels sorry for Alabama, right?
No, but Nick Saban pointing out to us, they lost the same type of guys in the same position. What I'm seeing, there are 2 things they lose. One is leadership, because Evans is a strong personality. He's a big-time signal caller. Jennings also is a leader. And the second, quite honestly, is a pass rush. Last year they had Tim Williams, who was drafted by the Ravens. I don't see a dominant edge rusher for Alabama right now.
Q, you're right. Stevens has not been under pressure in the passing attack. I mean, they've gotten rid of it quickly, and this is the 3rd down. Can Alabama mount some pressure here?
They're 2 of 6 on 3rd down tonight. Johnson in motion. Ends up in the slot to Johnson, first down, and they keep the chains moving. They're in field goal range as well, but there's a flag on the play as Tony Brown makes the tackle for Alabama. See what this flag is about.
Ineligible player downfield on the offense, number 30. He was covered up and went downfield on the pass. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Right, they're going to run this one again. Dalton Fackrell was downfield.
So they got Fackrell, number 30, down the field. Now he was covered up, I presume. That's the only reason that they would have gotten him there. He had to be covered up, and he was not eligible.
Boy, that stings. And a first down. It's going to be 3rd and 10 now. Stevens with time. Tough pass and catch. Wow, what a circus job by Fackrell. Came right back, atoning for that earlier error a play ago to get 25 in the first down.
You need plays like that if you're going to stay in a game with Alabama. And he jumps all over Fitzpatrick to make that catch. And you're right. That makes up for being an eligible receiver down the field. That's a great catch by anybody, but a tight end using hands like that, that's awesome.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Stevens play action out of the backfield, complete to the fullback. Prentice pushed out of bounds just a little bit shy of the first down. Colorado moving in rhythm now.
And a steady diet of tight ends, and we talked about the linebackers for Alabama, working the linebackers with the tight ends, working the safeties, getting away from the corners and Gallup, and now working tight ends against the young linebackers.
2nd and 1. Toss into the boundary, short side of the field. Body stopped up short by about a yard. It's going to be 3rd and short coming up. That Alabama defense, Quint, Rod, you guys have both mentioned it, missing a little bit of experience. As Bobo makes the call from the sidelines. Allen made the last tackle.
Well, you just have a feeling Colorado State's gonna go right at him here. This might be a good time, though, to come out with something where you're faking it inside and you get that throw, you get your quarterback moving, you do that tight end, you get something outside, you might get touchdown out of it.
Dawkins in the backfield. Let's see where Michael Gallup is. They're going to keep it. And enough for the first down. Nick Stevens keeps it and moves the chains. It'll be 1st down and goal. This is a guy that was benched after the first game last year. Showed a lot of toughness in dealing with the adversity coming back. Finished the season 4-2, was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country and has still been on a roll.
Jonesy, you have to ask yourself, can you run the ball in against a defense that hasn't given up a rushing touchdown yet this year?
Body again. Gets downhill. Make that Matthews. And Matthews got about 2.5 on the play.
Now, you know that these teams all week long, you work these situations. You know it's hard to get into the end zone. So you have a couple of red zone plays that you are fairly confident will get you in the end zone. Let's see which ones they pull out. I doubt that it'll be running inside.
It's Matthews, brought down by Deron Payne. Payne, one of the leaders up front, number 94. Had a great meeting with him yesterday in the coach's office. He says that this year's Alabama team is much more meshed, much more together.
Oh, he's certainly put together. He is a big athletic man who knows how to dominate inside.
Stopped to visit us on his way to his massage.
It's good. Good
they
living.
They take care of their players here.
Good living. But Jonesy, 2-down territory. I mean, are you thinking, hey, we need a touchdown and we'll go 4th down if we need to here? If so, it dictates what you call here.
That's Gallup at the top of the screen. 3rd and goal. It looked like Colorado State was trying to call a timeout.
Second charge timeout before the snap. Colorado State.
You think Mike Bobo was trying to get the officials' attention? Didn't pull a hamstring, at least. New time, Samantha Ponder and the NFL Countdown Gang. 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, also on the app.
Jonesy, you got to have a 3rd down play. You got things that you worked on. You're probably ready for it. If you want your best player, you're looking at Gallup down here if you get him in single coverage. If you don't get Gallup in single coverage, then you want to work the linebackers, I would think. And working the linebackers down here, that means that they would be looking at Prentice, the fullback, out of the backfield, or your tight end Butler. One of those two in a combination dealing with the linebackers is what you probably get.
They line up out of the eye with Prentice and Matthews.
Yeah, not a lot of room over there. Not a lot of room.
Warren Jackson split to the bottom of your screen. Gallup to the top.
Yeah, he's on the short side. I would doubt that there's enough room to get it to Gallup over there.
Stevens throws the alley-oop. Touchdown and a flag! Action Jackson with the grab! Over the top of Averett.
Boy, did he get up.
Let's see if it's going to stand.
That's got to be a pass interference call.
Pass interference on the defense. That penalty just declined. Touchdown, Ohio State.
The 6'5" Warren Jackson Rod, you can almost hear him say, hey, I got a little one here on me.
Well, we're seeing a lot of this year. The big, tall receiver simply getting the jump ball in the corner of the end zone. And you talk about a smaller corner at 6 feet, giving away 5 inches, trying to make that play. Tough.
Wow. Hey, hold off, folks, on the obituaries on Colorado State. It's a 7-point ball game on Jackson's first touchdown catch of his career and season.
Yeah, this is nothing but a jump ball. But what a move by Jackson to get over Everett, to make this catch.
He took that off his head.
Yeah, he did. But you know, Jonesy, what we're seeing with this offense now, this all started when the Colorado State defense saved that 4th down decision.
Right.
Since that point in time, the Colorado State defense has played well and given the offense opportunities, and the confidence has grown. They didn't weather the first 7-8 minutes.
Yeah.
But they got enough. Now you see what they've done on offense. They started the game 11 yards in the first quarter. Last 2 drives, 148 yards. And a lot of that's the calm and coolness of Nick Stevens.
And we talked about his resurrection a season ago. Big part of that was a lot of the extra film study, time that he spent with his girlfriend, now wife, watching extra film. She would help him critique his play and his performance. Ruggs on the return. Out to the 25. Chris Cotter, we got a game here. What's up in the studio? All right. Well, we got an interesting game here. Colorado State down by just a touchdown. Bo Scarborough in the backfield on 1st down and 10. Scarborough out of the backfield makes the catch. A couple of great moves for the 1st down. Out near the 36-yard line. Got a great block from the tight end, Henches.
You know, Jonesy, when you're an underdog and you come into a place like this and you don't play in these places, you can get intimidated. Now, I remember my first game against Ohio State.
How bad?
Oh, I was looking at the Buckeye stickers on the helmets, trying to figure out how they got them, what each one represented.
Hurts on the move. Oh, he hit him with the sauce and the sidestep. And back to that moment, Rod, how long did it take you before you finally exhaled and were able to compose yourself?
Yeah, it was a series or two, and then you realize it's just football. And forget about the helmet. And a little bit of that is happening with Colorado State. You know, 17-0, 100,000 people getting run out of the stadium, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Hey, we can play. And they got that 4th down defensive turnaround.
Hurts with all kinds of time. Slings it. Ridley, boy, he was in behind the defensive back on the play, but couldn't catch up to it. Anthony Hawkins was beaten. Instead, though, it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, this is just a scramble. Watch Ridley recognize that his quarterback is scrambling, so go deep. Couldn't get it.
Ridley already with a 78-yard touchdown catch today. And this Alabama offense facing a little bit, I wouldn't call it quite adversity, but having to respond here with the momentum right now on Colorado State's side. Scarborough with nowhere to go. Going to get about 1.5 yards.
Well, 3rd and long has not been good for Alabama this season. They have struggled in 3rd down situations.
It's just the 2nd meeting all time between these two schools.
And they were at 26% coming in, as you see, 27, 3 of 6 tonight. But this is 3rd and 9. This is not what they normally like.
Rams blitzing. Hurts gets it away in time. 1st down complete to Foster. Putting his legs to work. The turbo in. Touchdown.
Give your receiver a chance to do something with the football. Foster gets that on the move, coming back inside. So yards after catch, and which is the fastest of the Alabama receivers? I don't know. Take your pick.
Yeah, we spoke to Brian Dable about that. Asked him, he said, you know, if you lined up Foster and Ridley and Sims, it would be a blanket finish at the tape, I think his words were.
Yeah, but give credit again to Jalen Hurts. He gives Foster the opportunity to do something with the football. Gets it to him early, gets it to him on the move. Watch this. He's coming in. He gives him a chance. He gets a chance to do something with it, and that makes all the difference. You catch the defense flat-footed. You've got speed. Look at that.
Wow. Boy, Rod, how big is that response with a minute to go in the half by Alabama?
Oh, it's huge. Gets you back. The ability to make big plays, confidence. And remember, they had gone a couple of series where they had not moved the football.
Yeah.
That will go down in the books for Alabama, though, as a 2-minute drill opportunity that they used very successfully.
Former SEC Freshman of the Year, SEC Offensive Player of the Year, Freshman All-American, a self-described gym rat. Jalen Hurts was coached by his dad in high school.
And notice we've not seen Tua tonight. Tagovailoa has not come out to play. We saw him last week against Fresno.
You surprised
State.
we didn't see him in the first half here?
Not really. I don't think the game got to the point where they were comfortable putting him in.
Into the end zone and back out to the 25-yard line, first down and 10 for the Rams. And Colorado State, just when it seemed like they were on the edge of really getting back into the game, this last drive was impressive.
Yeah, they started making plays. You know, Fackrell makes that catch, and Jackson makes this catch. And if you're going to hang in there, you've got to make some significant plays. Now, the question for Colorado State is, how do you choose to manage this last minute? Are you content? You want to go in down 2 scores? You think you're good enough to push it, 75 yards in a minute?
Last time these two teams played, the only other time, as Stevens hands it off, gain of about 6 on the play, was when Jim McElwain was still the head coach at Colorado State, the former assistant here at Alabama. And that was the genesis, really, of this series between Alabama and Colorado State. The last time they played, it was actually a close game, competitive game, going into the fourth quarter.
Well, keep in mind, Colorado State gets the ball to start the second half. And I think they've decided that it's not worth it to take a risk here. And I think that's a smart decision, by Bobo. You give yourself a chance. You're down 2 scores. You get the ball to start the third quarter. Your team feels pretty good about itself right now. It's not a bad way to go.
Handoff this time is to Dalen Dawkins. Dawkins, the leading rusher on Colorado State's team the last couple of seasons, with 8 seconds to go in the first half of play, as Alabama looks for its 67th consecutive win against non-ranked opponents. 24-10 at the break as we send you back to our friends in the studio. Everyone to Tuscaloosa, you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Second meeting all time between Alabama and Colorado State. The second consecutive week that the Crimson Tide have taken on a Mountain West Conference foe. Everybody, I'm Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore. Quint Kesnick joining us in just a bit. Rod, Colorado State appeared to have stage fright, and with good reason, the huge explosive plays by Alabama.
Oh, yeah, they really got hit big time with Jalen Hurts doing some big things. At first, he was running all over them. Then he had some big pass plays, which Alabama had been waiting to do, so that really changed things for them. But they settled down in the second quarter, and that made all the difference for Colorado State. They're still in this ball game.
Yeah, Nick Stevens with a slow start. 3 of 6 passing for just 10 yards in the first quarter. In the second quarter, he was 7 for 8, and before the end of the half, they got to within 7 points.
Yeah, and this third quarter opening possession is critical for Colorado State. They can make this a one-possession game. They can continue with the confidence and the flow they had in that second quarter. If they do that, you got something happening here in the third quarter.
Rams will get a chance here to get the ball to start the half. And they'll start off on their own 25-yard line. First down and 10 for quarterback Nick Stevens. Talked about that shaky start that he had. But in the second quarter, we saw a couple of quarterback runs by him too, which helped.
Yeah. How about going from 11 total yards to 155, and they pulled out the okie doke with the quarterback run game, which, you know, he doesn't do, but they used it on a drive that got them in position to score, so it was worth it. And right now, they have to be very confident. They have to feel like they can move the football, that they can protect him. He has not been sacked. He's not been hit.
Two-time All-Mountain West Conference player. First and 10. Gets it out quickly, complete to Dalen Dawkins, and on the first play, Quint, they get a first down in the third quarter here.
We have got to capitalize on one-on-one coverage. The words of head coach Mike Bobo, and the play caller, said maintaining efficiency on third down important. I've got to keep my patience as a play caller and keep calling some runs. Defensively, close space and tackle on their playmakers. Too many yards after catch.
Yeah, that really hurt them, especially that last touchdown before the end of the half. Gallup in motion to the top of your screen. Stevens goes through his progression and fires incomplete. Intended for Frackrell. Keith Holcomb in on coverage. Stevens came into the ball game the leading passer yardage-wise in FBS.
Yeah, this is one of the few times that Alabama has gotten to Stevens and knocked him around. That was Bugs getting to him.
Second and 10. Completes it into Alabama territory at the 47-yard line. That was Michael Gallup working against Levi Wallace.
That's what Quint was talking about, that conversation he had with Mike Bobo, beating one-on-one coverage. You can see Gallup, physical, works his way inside.
Tipped up and incomplete. Minka Fitzpatrick with the pressure, and he put a hit on Stevens. Brought some heat.
Well, they've been able to protect Stevens because they've been getting the ball out quickly. You know, three-step, get it out, and now they've gone to something a little bit longer, and then the pressure from the outside, pressure from Fitzpatrick on a safety blitz, which Colorado State couldn't pick up. Their screen game still works. They used it on that first play. The screen game is still there for Colorado State.
Second and 10. Dawkins, great cut. And got about 7 yards on the play. It'll be third down and about 3 to go for the Rams.
What's your sense of the crowd here? I think they're a little bit stunned that this game isn't over now. I think they expected this to be just like Fresno State last week.
They're a little bit more curious than you'd expect them to be. And another first down by Dawkins into field goal range now for the Rams. The tackle made by Keith Holcomb. And they move the chains again. Dawkins, Matthews, Body, all doing a great job running the football here since the second quarter. Dawkins got 8 on that play.
Well, there's a bounce and there's an energy to Colorado State right now, and Dawkins is responsible for part of that. He runs hard.
Lining up out of the eye this time, Prentice the fullback. Dawkins with nowhere to go, brought down right at the line of scrimmage. The tackle made by Holcomb. Deron Payne was there as well, number 94. Had a great visit with him. He was talking about this team doing a lot together this year, talking about the chemistry, the identity still being formed. Izzy Matthews, the deep back out of the eye. Play action. Jackson in and out of his arms and picked off by Ronnie Harrison. Wallace was in on the coverage, and Harrison got the pick, and he gets the belt.
Well, Levi Wallace should get the belt. He made this play. He was in great position. Watch him get up and knock this ball up, and so Harrison gets the pick. But it's Wallace, the guy who was a former walk-on, got put on scholarship, lived in Tucson.
Yeah.
His dad lived in Alabama, grew up here, loved Alabama, and told him, hey, why don't you go play football at Alabama? Give yourself a chance. Try it. Yes. And he walked on. He's earned a scholarship, and he forced that play to happen for Harrison to get the pick.
Yeah, great story. So Alabama takes over first down and 10 from its own 12-yard line. Big first half for Jalen Hurts. This time hands it off. And a good stick in the hole that time by Josh Watson, their leading tackler. He leveled Damian Harris.
Watson's been playing well. We've seen him in on a couple of short yardage situations, make good tackles, and on that one he was being aggressive. He's playing with an energy that if the others pick up on it, Colorado State might get a stop. And if they get a stop and they can get in this thing, one more score, it's a one-possession game.
Harris into the short side of the field. And another nice tackle on the play by Trey Thomas. Quint?
Jonesy, the Rams, coming out of the locker room and now just being down here field side, you guys are all over it from a confidence standpoint. I think they're just soaking it in, enjoying the moment, and actually having fun. Like, wow, this is cool.
And they get caught napping before the snap. Hurts had it batted down to the line of scrimmage. So we went quick on the Rams defensively, Rod, but it didn't work. Flag down on the play, though, as Richard King batted it down at the line of scrimmage. Let's see what this flag is all about.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 12 in the formation. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Oh boy, that hurts the Rams.
Well, that's why you go fast. You catch them trying to get people off the field, and they don't. There you see it. Still got 91 at the edge there on the sideline.
Yeah. So it's a first down for Alabama at their own 23-yard line. And boy, Mike Bobo thinking that's one that got away. Harris in the backfield. Gets the carry and brought down after a gain of 2. Let's go back to Chris. And Lamar Jackson put some weight on this year. Took a bunch of hits last year, and figure if he was bigger and stronger, he'd be able to withstand some of those. 2nd and 8. On a designated run, Hurts keeps it himself and is pushed out of bounds shy of the 30-yard line by Emmanuel Jones, the freshman.
And that will bring up a 3rd down and about 5 or so. And again, it's been a little bit of a struggle for Alabama this season on 3rd down. They've been pretty decent tonight. And where's the big play? I mean, Ridley has been the guy that has been a problem for Colorado State.
On Dayball, you saw him on the sideline, the new offensive coordinator. Here's Scarborough out of the backfield, has some room. And Bo knows first downs. Got a good lead block on the play, which also helped from Henry Ruggs, the wide receiver. Wide receivers required to do a lot of blocking in this program.
Yeah, that's definitely a requirement for them, particularly now when they are doing more throws to the running backs.
There's Ridley, one of those talented wides outs. It's not afraid to get that uniform dirty blocking. They fake the jet sweep and give it to Scarborough. And Scarborough with a nice gain of about 8 on the play, brought down by Jamal Hicks. This Colorado State defense can come up with some big plays. Keep in mind, they lead the NCAA FBS in turnovers. Got 7 interceptions to go along with a couple of fumble recoveries. So they've made a bunch of big plays in their 3 games. Incomplete for Ridley. As a forward pass sets up a 3rd down and 2. Last time the Rams were able to make a play on third down, but the penalty cost them. See if they can come up with another one here. You know, Rod, we talked about Jalen Hurts. My dad told me people born square don't die round. Can you make him a passer? And how important is it that he become a big-time passer, quote-unquote?
Well, he may not throw it right here on this third down, but I think he's sort of on track. People forget he's only a sophomore.
See what he does on third down under pressure. Makes the play to Scarborough, and he gets the first down, Rod. Made the right decision.
You know, Jonesy, this is evidence of the change in the offense, throwing more to the backs. See Scarborough that time out of the backfield. That's that New England style Quint was talking about earlier. But you're seeing Hurts improve as a passer. You go back to that championship game, and people say, well, they couldn't throw the ball well enough, and that was going to be an issue. He was a freshman last year.
Saw the numbers, 13 of 31 against Clemson. Taking a shot up top. And incomplete, intended for Foster. Is that a snapshot of the type of play he has to start making?
Well, it's not just him. I know everybody talks about, you know, the passing game downfield and him, but sometimes it's the receiver being bumped.
Okay.
And the timing's off. Sometimes he's not protected. They've had some issues at the right side of the offensive line, and he's been under pressure a little bit. So all those things have worked together. But the most important thing for me is that you can't assume that a guy is going to be an NFL-style quarterback in his sophomore year. It takes a little while.
Forrestall leading the way for Hurts. And he's brought down after a gain of about 5. Let's go to Quint.
Yeah, he's an exceptionally talented athlete. He just glides and makes it look so easy. But can you recall a play tonight, Rod, where he has thrown the ball to the second receiver, to the not the check down, but maybe his second option, where he's looked off Ridley and found someone else? I mean, there's just a lack of intermediate throws in this offense right now.
Well, Q, I think you're right, but I think part of that is by design because they know that his legs are better than the second read. And so if he can take off and pick up yardage, they're preferring that right now to trying to go through a progression.
11th play of the drive. Hurts going to run it. Picked up a great block from Damian Harris and got enough for the first down. Boy, Harris came in and protected his QB.
I'm going to go back to Hurts for a second as we see him on this last play. You know, he gets to the first down, picks it up. You have this dilemma. Do you try and win the game and use his legs that are a great weapon, or do you focus more on developing him as an NFL quarterback for the next level or whatever? And you're trying to win a game, first of all, I think. And so I think that's the balance and the thing that they will continue to work with and try to slowly make sure that he gets to second, third reads.
Hands it off to Damian Harris. Broke a couple of tackles, tripped up at about the 21-yard line. Kevin Nutt making the tackle on the play. You know, it's all sounds like nitpicking right now because Alabama is the #1 team in the country. You know, there's some people that would say, oh, you know, if Hurts walks on water, oh, he can't swim.
Yeah. Look, the reality is there might be 1 or 2 games this year where they need him to pass incredibly great.
And he completes a pass here to Forrestall inside the 10-yard line. Looking at a first down and goal, and looks like Forrestall holding his knee and limping off to the sidelines. See what happened there on.
You could see as soon as he went down, he sort of planted that left leg and took the brunt of that hit up high. And just the way he went down, you could tell that there was an issue with the right leg. I think I said left leg, but it was his right leg.
Held his knee there. Forrestall out of Cartersville, Georgia. 6'5" sophomore, 12-yard gain on the play. First and goal from just inside the 10. Scarborough. Touchdown. Jonesy,
I got to tell you, the right side of this offensive line just really does a tremendous job. You just watch the double team right there and how far they just drive everybody out. Look at that hole.
Yeah, Jonah Williams.
Yeah, Lester Cotton, 66 in on that double team. Tremendous.
So Alabama capitalizes on the interception. Bo Scarborough with a touchdown run.
Well, you know where it started. Started with defense. Started with Levi Wallace knocking this ball up in the air and Ronnie Harrison getting a pick and getting the belt. But Scarborough getting the touchdown, and Alabama back in control here in the third quarter.
Well, thousands affected folks, obviously, by Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Harvey urgently need your support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. Donate today by going to redcross.org/ESPN. It's a time of great need in our country with natural disasters happening in the form of Harvey and Irma in Texas and Florida, respectively, very recently, and great community involvement and support. In fact, we met Ina Fowler of Naples, Florida. Her grandmother, she's the grandmother of an Alabama student, Michaela Fowler. There's Ina there on your screen over the right. And Michaela was able to evacuate her grandmother from Naples and get her here to Alabama. She's been going to class with.
This is Grandma right there. And Grandma's delightful, and she's shared so much with us about going to class with her granddaughter at Alabama. Awesome.
Some extra time with Grandma. Izzy Matthews on the screen, well executed, still on his feet and into Alabama territory at the 46-yard line. Big play for the Rams.
Yeah, it's a screen game we've talked about that was available for Colorado State. They come back with it just to throw back. And you've got Izzy Matthews picking up 27 yards on that one. So they get something going here.
That's not going to sit well with Coach Nick Saban, because screens last week against Fresno State were an issue, and they pop up here again. This defense just not getting a sense of when the opponent's throwing a screen.
First down and 10. Little play fake. And Stevens overthrows Warren Jackson, who caught that circus touchdown catch.
So, Jones, going back to that story you were talking about earlier.
Oh, Ina Fowler.
Yeah. I mean, how excited was that week?
Yeah.
Grandma was talking about going to classes at Alabama and hanging out at the sorority. To me, that sounds like a movie.
Yeah. It's one of many heartwarming and compelling stories to develop out of the hurricane in the state of Florida. Some almost 1 million people without power in the state still. Stevens downfield, has a man, and great recovery on the play by Levi Wallace, who was the guy responsible for that interception on the last sequence.
Yeah, he's not happy with himself, though, because Wallace knows that he gave this up and he had to get back involved and recover and make a desperation attempt because he let Johnson get by him. They see him grab his helmet. He's like, I'm going to hear about that one.
Even when you make the play?
Yeah, you tell him, Coach, I made the play. You always tell him that.
Hey, Coach, did he score?
I got recovery speed.
3rd and 10. Stevens. Another interception. This time to Hootie Jones. Hootie on the loose. Down to the 10-yard line.
And Nick Stevens would tell you that this is a really bad throw. This is not the throw he wanted. He can't believe he missed it by that much. Overthrows his guy. Hootie Jones sitting right there. It was as easy as catching a punt.
Yeah. That's the 6th interception for Nick Stevens this year. I mean, you talk about room service. Everything but the chocolate on your pillow that time. Back after this.
back in Tuscaloosa. Hootie Jones, this is the easiest interception he'll ever get. You see him just sitting back there waiting, and here comes the punt. It's right there. He picks it up. He's on his way. Got a little convoy down the sideline. And you got to have your head on a swivel or else this happens. Big hit, peeling back. That's Moxley who takes the shot.
And King was the guy that delivered the blow. You know that group of guys with Hootie on the sidelines there?
Yeah.
The blowfish.
The blowfish, yeah.
You were sitting on that too. Well, here's Hurts. And now it's Josh Jacobs on the handoff. Second down coming up. Couldn't square those shoulders and turn the corner. Jacobs, one of 4 talented running backs. We saw Najee Harris. We've seen Harris a lot and Scarborough a lot.
That's not typical Alabama, though.
In what sense?
Well, they usually have a guy that they feature. You think about, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, right. Heisman winners, the guys that they ride. And right now, they don't have their identity. They're still trying to find who that guy is.
This is Damian Harris. Boy, kept those legs moving and scores the touchdown.
He could be a featured back, and everybody overlooks Harris. I mean, he ran for more than 1,000 yards last season. Just gets overlooked. He's a hard-nosed runner, strong legs, gets that dive into the end zone.
Playing in the SEC, Rod, he averaged 7 yards per carry last year.
Yeah.
That says a lot against some of the best competition in the country. That's the 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Harris, the 6th of his career. And Alabama now leading 38-10. It all was set up by that Hootie Jones interception.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And the strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Some things are simply impossible to ignore.
Talk about facilities here at Alabama. There's a look at the Players' Lounge, complete with Papa Shot, a chef that'll cook you up your favorite omelet if you have the time in the morning. The weight room, Rod. Everything a student athlete could ask for in terms of support and resources at your fingertips.
Well, Nick Saban believes in that. He says we will invest whatever we need to back into the players because they deserve it, and it works.
There's Dietrich Clark on the return, still on his feet. And Clark with a straight arm pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Alabama second to none with respect to resources. You walk around campus, you look at the athletic facilities, and you could argue that these athletes will never be quite as well maintained and taken care of in their lifetime.
Yeah, let's put it this way.
The average.
Because of the way the rules are, I mean, you can't pay players.
Yeah.
And they feel very firmly that they should invest in the program, whether you're talking about weight room, a lounge, academic support. They pour a bunch of money into making sure the players here have everything that they need.
1st and 10, that's Cameron Butler in motion. Little blitz coming off the edge, and a great play by Minka Fitzpatrick. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. He's made so many big plays.
Well, he is such a good safety. He can play deep. He plays in the box. They use him an awful lot to get to the line of scrimmage. He had no chance of making a sack, but see how high he got and knocked that down? I mean, he's such an instinctive player.
That's a guy that Mike Bobo singled out when he was watching film of Alabama. Fitzpatrick as well as Ridley and Mel Kiper's top 10. Threading the needle, incomplete, intended for Cameron Butler. Quickly, it's going to be 3rd down and 10 for Nick Stevens. Sean Dion Hamilton there to help break that one up. Colorado State started with the ball to begin this 3rd quarter. Hey, we're only down 2 touchdowns.
Remember, coming into the 3rd quarter, it looked like Colorado State was still in this thing, and they had 2 turnovers. I mean, it was much like that 1st quarter when they couldn't do anything.
Stevens has misfired on his last 5 passes. under pressure, completes this one. And a great run after the catch by Dawkins, still on his feet. And Dawkins with a big first down to keep the drive alive for the Colorado State Rams. Picked up 18.
Tremendous acceleration by Dawkins. He's 5'9", 185. And look at him just take off. He gets right inside, and he knows where the first down marker is.
This time running the ball for a gain of about 5 on the play. That's the nephew of Brian Dawkins, former NFL player. Mac Wilson making the tackle on the play for Alabama.
He had over 900 yards rushing last season. Colorado State coaches call him the toughest guy on their offense.
Here he is again, getting another shot. Nowhere to go up the middle, stopped up by Raekwon Davis. Approaching 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Mark Jones chopping it up with Rod Gilmore. Quint Kesnick down on this field. Colorado State looking for its third win of the season. And this their second game all time against Alabama. But an uphill climb right now. Johnson sets in the slot. Backside heat. And batted down, incomplete. Boy, Minkah Fitzpatrick had Stevens locked in on the scope.
I thought he was offsides. I thought Fitzpatrick jumped a little bit, but maybe timed it just right. But it was hand inside. I think that got his hand on it. Or was it Payne? No, it was Payne who got his hand on it, but it was Hand who got a piece of Stevens as well.
And Stevens took a hit, Quint.
Yeah, there's been a noticeable shift for Alabama's defense now in the second half in terms of blitzing and bringing extra men from the edge.
Stonehouse to punt. Diggs back at his own 10-yard line, calls for the fair catch at about the 8. Rough night for Stevens. Next Saturday, we have a Big Ten battle, number 5 Penn State. And Saquon Barkley taking on Iowa. Catch the action at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and streaming live on the ESPN app.
You know what I took away from the whole Barkley thing this week?
What's that?
Barkley can squat more.
Oh, that's right.
And can clean more than Deron Payne, who's 308 pounds. That tells you how strong Barkley is. We saw that in week 1.
Yeah, that's not a knock on Payne.
No. It tells you how impressive Barkley is, that you've got a running back that lifts weight better than some defensive linemen.
Saw that 405-pound clean. Rod, thanks for fixing my form in the gym today, by the way. As Hurts stays on his feet, breaking a tackle, and brought down right around the first down marker by Darius Campbell. You know, this Alabama team has a bunch of players from the state of Florida. You know, Ridley, one of them. We were talking with him a little bit earlier how his family had to relocate to a hotel to find shelter. And that was one of the themes of the last week or so for not just Alabama, but a lot of college football teams with players from the great state of Florida, Sunshine State. Second down and 1. This is Scarborough with a first down. And in keeping with that, Rod, I spent a lot of time, almost 48 hours in the dark when the power went out in my home. And it's great to see, you know, there's a lot of things being said about the state of relationships in our country right now. I can tell you that in my neighborhood and across the country, there was great community togetherness in times of need. And it was very heartwarming and inspiring. Neighbors coming over, offering to use their generator, food, water, ice, and all the rest. Scarborough on the carry. And a special shout out to Mitch from Westside Bagels in Weston, Florida, keeping the restaurant open during the hurricane, and Antioch Missionary Baptist Church as we help provide for the community in need.
Well, we've seen people pitch in and donate and do so much over the last few weeks with these natural disasters. It's good to see people step up and help.
Yes. Amen. Second down and 11. Scarborough now motions out of the backfield, an empty formation for Hurts. And he's going to take off. And it was a good move. Man, this guy makes magic happen with his feet. Well, talk about watching in the dark. It's a good thing that I had my phone there during Hurricane Irma. That's you on the left, Rod, during the open of the game last week. And Kevin Brown
also there. Yeah.
And the good old ESPN app, dependable with about 35% power left on my iPhone. Watching the game, there's Coach Leach. And
that's commitment, watching your crew. I love that. Good job.
Had to stay connected. I know there's a hurricane out there with those 100-mile-per-hour winds beating down the doors, but the show goes on. Hurts. Boy, what a show he's putting on. A great catch by Devontae Smith.
This is as good an example of his patience and his touch as you will find. He looks off, waits, and he's got him coming across perfectly, waited for Smith to come across there, and it worked out perfectly. He had a guy clear deep for him, and it worked out. That's a nice throw with a good touch.
New quarterback in the ball game, Tua Tagovailoa, a highly touted quarterback out of Hawaii. Completes it to Henches. Nowhere to go. It's on the ground. Looked like they ruled it a fumble. Jerry Jeudy recovered the fumble for Alabama after the complete pass. Tagovailoa came in last week, completed his first two. Not sure he ever had that, Rod.
Well, you know, the question is, did he make a football move? And it looks like he took 2 steps with it before he lost it as he tried to put it away.
We're not sure what's happening down in the field because we have not heard anything from the replay officials or otherwise.
The previous play is under review.
You find out when we find out. Let's take another look.
Oh, did he have possession? Catch. Tries to put away 1 step. 2. You know, looking at the replay, you could make the argument that he never really had control over it, and that's an incomplete pass. Now, in real speed, I'm going to say I don't believe he had control of it.
I thought that the first time we saw it.
You know, I was thrown off with he took 2 steps, and you didn't see the ball come out to the end.
Right.
As he was trying to put it away, but I don't think he had control over it. As you go back and you see from the very start, he juggles that, and when he tried to pull it in, it was never tucked in. It was still moving. There, pull it in, he doesn't have control of it, it's gone. That's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa. What do you make of him coming in at this point of the game with them up 28 points?
I think they realized that they were running Jalen Hurts with a 28-point lead late in the third quarter, and no need to do that. So they wanted to get him some work because he is the backup quarterback. Right. They only have 2 scholarship quarterbacks. You need to have him ready to play, get him some work. They got him the first action last week, and he is a talented player. People may forget, but he won that Elite 11 quarterback camp that Trent Dilfer runs. It's an outstanding show, and so he was tagged as the top quarterback in the country for winning that. Threw for more than 8,000 yards in Hawaii, breaking all of Timmy Chang's records, essentially, at least for yardage.
Yeah. And there is no quarterback controversy here at Alabama. You said that a little bit earlier, but if you listen to Nick Saban's news conference earlier this week when asked by a local reporter about Tagovailoa and when he might come into the ball game, Nick Saban had an interesting answer.
It was an incomplete forward pass. It'll be 2nd and 10. Please reset the game clock to 44 seconds, please.
Well, you heard the call. And there's the specs on Tagovailoa.
How about that? His family moved here to Alabama from Hawaii.
Wow. Younger brother is apparently a pretty good football player, too. Slings it around.
He's actually a commit to Alabama for 2019 as a quarterback.
Here's Najee Harris to the wide side of the field. Nice run by Harris. Picked up about 8. Tackled by Justin Sweet.
What do you make of moving from Hawaii? Not only moving from paradise, but moving to be close to your kid who's a freshman, keeping an eye on him. And
that's commitment.
That is.
That's all in.
That's a lot of work. That's really being all behind what your kid is doing.
You know, that's in a lot of instances, Rod, the state of athletics now for kids when it comes to collegiate athletics and scholarships. When you think about scholarships being at stake.
So you're going to go to college with your kids, right?
Hey, man, if I pack this in, you might find me somewhere on the beach taking a little class with my daughters. It's been all Crimson Tide from the opening kick. They lead 38-10 when we come back to Tuscaloosa.
ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Another sellout here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Over 101,000 on hand. And Tua Tagovailoa in at quarterback. 3rd down and 3. A little bootleg action. And incomplete, intended for Najee Harris. Threw it behind him that time. Rod, we were watching film earlier this week, and you were impressed with the way that he makes that throw rolling out the other way with his left.
He throws very well on the move. Whether he's going to his left or his right, he knows how to square himself and make good throws. That one was a little bit behind.
Nick Saban wasn't impressed.
Yeah. He's used to seeing him make that throw.
Right.
You know, they gave him something that he was comfortable with, and he missed the throw that time. Doesn't happen very often.
Papanastos. A long one from 43, and he knocks it through. ESPN's Monday Night Football matchup featuring the Lions and Giants. Coverage beginning with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 6 Eastern on ESPN. Spanish language coverage of the game available on ESPN2.
See all those NFL logos. You'll see a lot of Alabama players in the NFL. They have 39 active current NFL players, which is the most tied with LSU. And you'll see 5 Alabama alums playing on that Monday night game.
Yeah.
Or at least dressed and available.
A yard deep. And Dietrich Clark will decide to have it come out to the 25. Certain formula just seems to work under Nick Saban here, Rod.
Yeah, you know, they've got great facilities. They typically wind up with a top 5, top 3 recruiting class. They win championships. But to me, it's all about that, the NFL. They get guys ready for the league, guys play in the league. They can sell the top recruits on that. And as Nick Saban says, you know, they invest in stuff for their players here, and they have a process. And if you commit, buy in, do what you need to do, you're giving yourself a chance. And it works.
Win a lot of championships along the way. Pass complete to Dietrich Clark, and he's hit immediately on the play and brought down by Tony Brown.
And that process really helps the guy who is not an independent worker. You know, so if you need help getting to class, they will get you to class. You need help getting to the weight room, they'll get you to the weight room. Your nutrition, your massages and whatnot, they make sure that that stuff happens, that you do it.
Yeah, tremendous support. Great sprint by Dawkins. Right between the tackles, untouched. And into Alabama territory. A spirited sprint of 28 yards.
Well, good block up front. You see the little double team over there. And his burst is fantastic.
Yeah, Dawkins a little quicker than Matthews when he touches the ball. Run the sweep this time to Clark into the boundary as we go back to Chris Cotter in the studio. How surprised are you by that run?
That's stunning.
Whoa.
Now, you knew that Mississippi State was going to be able to score some points, but that's stunning.
Izzy Matthews in the backfield gets the handoff. And more success running the ball. Let's go down to Quinn.
Yeah, when you think about quarterbacks in the SEC West, I mean, Nick Fitzgerald, it's got to be near the top of the list. After his experience last year, he's got the size, dual threat, and I think this is a game that could really set in motion the Bulldogs being the primary threat to Alabama in the West.
Hold on, Q, hold on.
Well, I'm going to ask you to pump your brakes a little bit as Izzy Matthews gains about 6 yards on the play.
Well, who else is there then?
Well, I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, I agree with you that Mississippi State, takes a jump up and they become a real, second-tier team in the West. But I think the gap between Alabama and Mississippi State is great. But I don't know who would beat Alabama in the SEC right now. I don't see anyone strong enough to do it. But if you had to pick one that would have a puncher's chance, you're probably right. It's probably Mississippi State with Fitzgerald at quarterback.
Stevens incomplete. Diggs on the coverage as we take a look at our college football rankings presented by Chick-fil-A, Alabama #1.
Yeah, the Washington-Fresno State game hasn't started yet. Oklahoma State is throwing up numbers that are making people go, wait a minute, what are they doing on offense over there?
Yeah, that first quarter was combustible against Pittsburgh today.
So Oklahoma, Clemson, USC, maybe Penn State. Maybe those are the chief competitors that could knock off Alabama. Now, hang on. I don't think Alabama's playing as well as they will later this season. They still had some growth left in them, I believe.
Stevens had it batted and almost intercepted as we go back to Chris. But hold on a sec. We got a flag here on the play. We're going to keep it here. Keith Holcomb deflected the ball.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Number 4 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
All right, so after the penalty, Colorado State will get a first down out of it. Clemson up 16-7 now in that game, and there's a lot of speculation about Deshaun Watson, who got his first NFL win this week. What the void would be like, because it was more than just stats, his incredible talent and leadership.
That Clemson defense is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that defensive line is just sick. They may have 3 or 4 high draft picks on that front, and they're going to be tough to deal with. That's a problem. Right? Clemson could wind up right back where they were last year, and that's in a championship game.
1st and 10, quick slant complete to Dietrich Clark, and it's going to be 1st and goal on the 11-yard pickup. He's working against Tony Brown.
It just works inside on this slant, and once he gets that position, just need the ball thrown right on the money, and that's where Stevens puts it.
Rams going quick. Izzy Matthews on the carry. Got about 3 on the play, brought down by Deron Payne. 2nd and goal coming up for Colorado State. Under 12 minutes to go.
Colorado State certainly looks like a team that is solid enough to compete in the Mountain West. We've seen Boise State in Colorado State now. Certainly ought to be a pretty decent race in the Mountain West.
Yeah. Start talking about the group of 5 after that. Matthews again fighting, but stopped up short of the goal line by about half a yard. Sets up a 3rd down and goal.
When you talk about the Mountain West, though, and you tend to look at Boise State, you forget just how good San Diego State is. You take on Stanford tonight, and that's a team that is going to be at or near the top of the Mountain West also. As we take a look at another injury, that looks like Jeff Taylor.
Yeah. Boise State got the win. You saw the game on ESPN last night against Bob Davies' New Mexico team. Back after this.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Ally. do it right. And Milky Way, deliciously distracting.
Alabama leading this game right from the opening kick. And we're approaching 11 minutes to go here in the football game. They lead by 31.
You know, the pride on that defense is trying to keep Colorado State out of the end zone. They have not given up any points in the second half.
3rd and goal. Obviously 4-down territory. Stevens keeps it. Flag down on the play. See what the call is.
Number 90 was lined up offside. That's a half the distance penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
That's King.
He's not even close.
How does that happen, Rod?
That's not paying attention. It's that simple. You know, you look inside, you see where the ball is, you line up. He didn't look. And Nick Saban is going to use that as, hey, here's another example of us being sloppy in a game. We could have just really cleaned this stuff up.
3rd and goal. And more movement up front. This time it looked like Jake Bennett, number 77, the left guard, might have moved prematurely. This game getting a little ragged right now.
Before the snap infraction, offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So you can see that was simply the center with a false snap, pulled it half the way, stopped, and restarted. So this gives Alabama's defense a chance to keep Colorado State out of the end zone. And you know, did you notice how excited that defense was when they thought they had the stop a couple plays ago? They're not conceding anything here.
10th play of the drive here. Stevens underneath, incomplete. Matthews had it knocked away by Keith Holcomb. And 4th down coming up. Holcomb, a great story. Guy that's defeated diabetes to play 2 Division I sports. Also a member of the Alabama baseball team.
There you see him.
Pretty good athlete.
He's going to get one more play here because Colorado State's going to go for it, even though I'm sure they're Alabama fans thinking, try the field goal. Alabama heavily favored tonight. Some people sitting on edge.
1 of 5 on 4th downs. 4th and goal. Stevens going to try and do it himself, and he does. Nick Stevens takes out his do-it-yourself kit. And that's the first rushing touchdown allowed this season by Alabama.
The quarterback quarterback lead has been the one rushing play that has hurt Alabama all night. And they certainly didn't expect Nick Stevens to come out running tonight. But when he's done it, he's been effective and got the first rushing touchdown against Alabama this season.
You know, Rod, in watching Colorado State's 3 games before this, I don't remember seeing any quarterback runs like that. Extra point good. You know, it's a tough night when you got the back of your uniform in tatters like Nick Stevens does right now. But he's going to go down swinging. Back after this. Teachers Week is a celebration of teachers led by the College Football Playoff Foundation through its Extra Yard for Teachers platform. Visit the College Football Playoff Foundation website at www.cfp-foundation.org to learn more about Extra Yard for Teachers Week and see how you can get involved. And Pruitt teaching his defense a thing or two right now.
Well, remember they talked about the quarterback draw earlier. They had the erase board out there, dry chalkboard. Still haven't fixed it.
Henry Ruggs, the third on the kickoff return. There was a scene that was kind of interesting last week against Fresno State when early in the first quarter, actually it was midway through the first quarter, Coach Pruitt came over and he lit up his defense. I mean, he really got into them and challenged them.
You know, this defense to me is not there yet. We watched last year's defense, and they played with an intensity, an anger, an intimidation factor. I mean, they didn't want to just tackle you. They wanted to run you into the ground. And I don't sense that yet from this defense at Alabama yet. Might get there, but not yet.
Tagovailoa in, and the pass incomplete. Intended for Ruggs. And Hurts, we're guessing, is probably done for the night. 12 of 17, 248, a couple of touchdowns. How would you evaluate his performance tonight, Rob?
I would say that they got what they wanted out of him. They got some big plays down the field.
We're talking about Teachers Week, okay? What kind of grade would you give him?
He's going to get an A.
Okay.
He's going to get an A because he threw the ball well, he ran it well, he made good decisions, and they got explosive plays, which they hadn't done. You know, he hadn't thrown for more than 150 yards in a game.
As Harris runs it. Quint, you know, Rod, he usually grades pretty hard, so that's pretty impressive by Hurts.
I agree in this case. From field level, you know, a couple of those runs he makes where he stutter steps and slides out of the way of ongoing tackles, he really is so instinctual, so smooth, makes it look so easy. I thought he was really, really good tonight, especially that throw he threw late stages of the third quarter. I'd give him an A also.
Yeah, he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better in the passing game.
Tagovailoa complete to Najee Harris.
You know what got me this week, which I didn't know, which really threw me off? Nick Saban is a baller. Nick Saban plays basketball.
Yeah.
That was the thing that stunned me.
He can hoop.
Apparently it's a big deal for him.
Yeah, had a visit with Avery Johnson, the basketball coach here, who visited Nick Saban earlier, and Avery even found out something interesting about, you know, who actually runs the show on a basketball court at times. The noontime runs here in Alabama are pretty good. 4th and 9. That's if you get picked up. It's kind of an invite-only deal. Fair catch called back at the 17-yard line by B.C. Johnson. But, yeah, the hidden hoop talents of Nick Saban. Avery Johnson visited practice recently. Here's how it went.
And, you know, you're on my noontime basketball. We play noontime basketball.
Coach, I am ready. And I'm 50.
I play the point.
Coach, but on the basketball court, that's my territory.
Yeah, but I'm the commissioner of the state.
So Nick Saban tells an NBA champion that you got to play two guard. I run the show.
Yeah, you know, and Avery Johnson had just showed up as the new basketball coach here, and you know, Nick invited him out, but said, no, but I run point. You'll play something else.
Toss sweep into the boundary by Izzy Matthews, who runs for a first down. Quint?
Jonesy, not only does he pick his team, he picks on the other team who's going to cover him.
Wow. Talk about control.
Hey, it's good to be the king. Sounds like one of them good problems.
Avery Johnson with a 5-star point guard coming in this year, and things looking very bright. Avery Johnson Jr. with a strong finish to the season for the Crimson Tide. Big things happening under the former NBA champ and former colleague here as we go back to one of our colleagues in the studio, Chris Connor. Chris? All right, Chris, 2nd and 12 here.
What do you think the LSU reaction among the fans will be to a beatdown by Mississippi State?
Well, they had Some pretty good expectations, as they always do at
Charge
LSU.
timeout, Colorado State.
That is stunning, though.
I mean, this is the year LSU is supposed to be just a play away. Right now, Colorado State, more than a play away.
It's a Big Ten battle, number 5, Penn State, Iowa. Catch the action at 7:30 Eastern on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app as well. Saquon Barkley putting up some pretty good numbers tonight as well.
Well, he's showing his ability to catch the ball tonight. Not so much running it. You see Penn State. Look at the headlines today, 42-0 third quarter. Barkley only 47 yards on 10 carries. Probably going to get a few more touches. And how about Memphis with a big upset over UCLA? That was a pretty exciting ball game.
Yeah. About 7 minutes to go in Tuscaloosa. Stevens slinging it down the seam and dropped by Gallup. You won't see that often. Trayvon Diggs in on the coverage.
Well, we told you at the beginning of the night that Gallup was an outstanding receiver. This was a big stage for him, a chance to really show what he could do. And he's only been targeted 9 times, 4 catches, 70 yards, no touchdowns. But, you know, some of that is I thought they would move him around, get him some opportunities, but they had to get the ball out quick, and he just hasn't had many chances.
Nick Stevens, never a good sign when your quarterback's jersey is that dirty, Rod. He's taking a few hits tonight. But he completes that pass to B.C. Johnson, and once again he's getting up off his back.
Well, the
back of his jersey is actually torn.
Yeah.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 49 on the defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
Isaiah Buggs, you know, he was relatively clean in the first half, and then there were some blitzes, and then the takedown here by Buggs, obviously late. But it was the blitzing typically from Minkah Fitzpatrick. Quint talked about the pressure from the outside, using the safeties in the second half to generate more pressure. Results in a dirty jersey and a torn jersey.
It happens to a lot of quarterbacks when they play against Alabama. In the big picture, thinking about national championship number 17. They've won 4 under Nick Saban. This is Izzy Matthews. Next week, Alabama will take on Vanderbilt. Conference play. 2nd down and 4 coming up. Matthews tried to cut it back. Nothing doing there. Stopped up by Johnny Dwight.
You know, the way the defense has played tonight for Alabama, Nick Saban is going to be happy because it's going to give him reason to push guys next week as they get ready for Vanderbilt.
What kind of grade would you give the defense?
Not an A. Look at this.
Really?
350 yards, 5.1 average per play. And Nick Saban said himself at halftime, second quarter, he was not happy with the way that defense played. Q,
yeah,
agree?
this has got to be a major red flag if you're an Alabama fan or you're Coach Saban. I mean, when was the last time Alabama against a Mountain West opponent, a group of 5 opponent, gave up 350 yards?
Man, you guys talking like Rome's on fire here. Izzy Matthews with the catch over there. They'll tack a few more onto the 350. So, Rod, I think I'm feeling like a B+.
I'd probably go B-. And the reason is, you know, they've had a bunch of injuries at the linebacker spot. So you're playing a lot of guys who are just getting their feet wet. They only gave up 17, but I'm sure that they would say, and Pruitt would say, look, there are a couple plays that really hurt us. We blew some assignments, that quarterback draw. We're going to see it all year until we stop it. But we can't make those kinds of mistakes.
I'm glad you weren't my teacher. I'd have taken 4 years to get out of the 3rd grade.
I gave an A on the quarterback. Come on.
Stevens completes it to Matthews, who gets a few yards after the catch.
But the real thing that would concern me, if I were an Alabama fan, is that I can't rush the passer with 4 guys. And typically Alabama has always been able to do that. And you haven't seen that in this season so far. The pressure has come when they've brought a fifth guy, a defensive back. You know, they've gone to the blitz. It's not getting done with four guys, and I think that's the one thing on defense that would concern me more than anything else.
Still a long way to go, just week 3. As Kinsey Jr. on the run. And he got racked. Wow.
Yeah, you mentioned this is early. This is week 3. Keep in mind, Alabama will get back a couple of injured players.
Yeah.
They'll get a couple guys back, and that will help. And the guys that are playing tonight are getting some experience. So when you get to October, you get to November, you'll have a more experienced team, and you'll need that.
And this is Kinsey again. So when you look at Alabama, you're trying to tell me that they have a pretty high ceiling or a medium-sized ceiling right now in terms of room for improvement?
I think this team is going to get a lot better. I think when they get healthier at the linebacker spot, you'll see that. I just don't know about the defensive pass rush. I think offensively, they will continue to get better. They will establish a rotation at running back. And I think Hurts is just going to get more comfortable in the mid-range passing game. And if he doesn't, what's the worst? He takes off and runs, and it's worked pretty well.
Well, it was good enough to get them within 4 points of the national championship last year. Marvin Kinsey Jr. got rocked again just shy of the 15-yard line. But Alabama with 16 national championships.
I mean, do you see anyone in the SEC knocking off Alabama?
No. No, I don't see. I think they come out of the West and roll over whoever comes out of the East as well. I think that, you know, we haven't talked much about the SEC East this year. I mean, that
with good reason.
Yeah.
And so
it's down.
If you start looking nationally, you know, we talked about it earlier, Oklahoma, Clemson, you know, is Penn State good enough if they should get there?
What are the chances, as Clemson is on Louisville, taking on Louisville, what are the chances of a rematch? What do you think?
I think they're solid.
Clemson, Alabama again?
Given that Florida State lost Francois, I think Clemson will be favored over Florida State when they hook up.
3rd down and 4. Stevens, little bubble screen, jet screen. Down to the 3-yard line. Good catch by Dietrich Clark. 1st and goal coming up. Crimson Tide defensively have been stingy when it comes to points. They've only given up 17. And in this day and age, a spread offenses and playing fast. Pretty good as somebody's shoe went flying there. Stevens into the end zone. Waiting for a signal.
That's a
Still
tough
no
catch.
signal.
That's a tough catch.
Incomplete. Gallup went up for it. Appeared to come down with the ball, but
well, he came down with the ball, but was he in bounds? I mean, watch how strong his hands are. He gets this, but is he in bounds? No. Hey, it looks like he falls simultaneously out of bounds. If any part is out of bounds. Oh, wait, there's that left foot. There's that left foot.
That looked like a touchdown.
Yeah, you know, I think there are a couple things.
Under further review.
One, you're looking to see if he was out of bounds. 2, when you leave your feet, you must complete the process when you come back down. So you have to have control all the way through coming back to contact with the ground. So left foot, he's in bounds.
Right.
Now, does he have control all the way through? That ball moves a little bit. I can't see if it moved anymore.
That is a great effort, regardless. That looks like a catch.
That's a catch to me. I think that's 6. Again, you know, complete the process. Does the ball, do you lose possession of it? And he had possession of it when he came down. That left foot was in bounds. I think that's a touchdown.
That sure looked like one.
And remember, you need indisputable video evidence, and that looked clear to me.
Yeah.
Left foot in, ball stayed on his chest, never left his hand.
You talk about rising to the moment there. Michael Gallup went high and made a fantastic catch, and still waiting word as to whether they'll overturn it or not.
Well, did you see how strong his hands are?
Yeah.
He caught the very tip of the ball, the
How hard
front
is that?
part of it. The ball was behind him.
Wow.
It had gone by him, and he got the last bit of it.
Yeah, we got to look at him prior to the game down to the field. He's slapped together pretty well. Great story out of Butler Community College. They're actually recruiting another player at his high school, and they saw Gallup, who was standing next to him. The other player was short. He was 5'9", and they say, "Who's that guy?" And Colorado State staff, Mike Bobo, got on him and ultimately successfully signing him out of community college. He was hurt his sophomore year, and a bunch of schools backed off of him.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's an incomplete pass.
Tough to tell what a catch is.
Huh. I mean, we all grew up thinking we knew what a catch was.
Yeah. So this is the 15th play coming up. That looked like a catch.
I'm not down with that one. I'm not down with that. I mean, to me, that's a touchdown. That's a catch. Left foot's in. He falls on his back. Ball moved, but he had his hands around it the entire time.
2nd and goal. Going up top for Jackson. Caught. Waiting. Touchdown. His 2nd one of the night. So undaunted, Nick Stevens, unflappable, comes back and throws one complete for the score.
Well, another fade route, another jump ball, 6'5", goes up, gets it, has control, foot down, goes to the ground.
Did he really have control?
We used to know what a catch was.
You
know what?
know.
Here's what I.
You never know.
If your rules are so complicated that the average person no longer understands what a catch is, there's something wrong with your rules.
You got a great point. Because that last one looked like a touchdown catch. They're going to go for 2. Stevens surveys, fires incomplete. Intended for Cameron Butler, the tight end. Let's go back to Chris in the studio. All right, Chris.
You know, Chris is always my litmus test. If he knows what a catch is, then we're good.
Yeah, somebody's got to explain it to me, because that catch by Gallup looked like it was a catch.
They're confusing everybody across the country. Nobody knows what a catch is anymore.
You had told me something interesting about when you watch things in slow motion, how sometimes it can distort.
Well, there's this study out of the University of Chicago which says that basically when you use instant replay and slow things down, you change the intent and what people see, and they ascribe a lot more to it than what actually occurred. In real time, that's a catch.
Right.
But you slow this down, and the study that they did started with juries and showing them crimes. And they said, oh, slow it down, that looks like that was intentional. Then when they looked at football plays, and then they go, oh, well, when you slow it down, it looks like, they were trying to hit that guy, or they didn't have control of it. But in real time, it's not the same. So you have to be careful with what you think you're getting when you go slow motion replay.
Lining up for the onside kick here. 1:46 to go. Down by 18. A little misdirection. Loose. And Alabama recovering the onside kick, number 31, Keaton Anderson. Sage Steele is back in Bristol. Start your day with her, Randy, and Jay, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern for the new Sports Center AM. Also available on the ESPN app.
Welcome back, Sage. Hanging out with Jay and Randy. That'll be a good group. That'll be fun.
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts back in the game. Interesting.
I don't get that.
I can't wait until the first local reporter asks Nick Saban about this one. Damian Harris still running hard, gets another first down. It's been a productive night for Damian Harris. 1:34 to go in the ball game. Alabama on the verge of improving to 3-0 on the season. Big win to start the season off against Florida State. Perhaps hoping that it's just one of 3 trips to Atlanta this year, Rod. Of course, the championship game going to be played there January 8th. Harris with 11 rushes today for a total of 53 yards. Scarborough in the backfield. We'll run the play clock down to 4. And Scarborough found a nice seam inside the 20-yard line. Boy, Alabama puts their number 2 guy in, number 1 guy in, number 3 guy in, number 4 guy in. It's the same guy.
They're not lacking in talent. But if you're Colorado State, there's some positive things to take away from this. You came to Tuscaloosa, you put up 23 points on a defense that has been shutting people down, not giving up more than 10 points in a ball game. And you showed some life at times on defense.
As you mentioned earlier, this is a team that has great possibility in the Mountain West Conference. Scarborough, not sure whether he blew a tire or went down on purpose there as time runs down on this night.
I got to believe that Jalen Hurts only came in to do the handoffs. For whatever reason, either Tua wasn't available or the plays that they wanted to run, they just wanted some security with a guy who's done this before. Finish it off.
Gotta love Hurts's poise tonight. And there's Tungo Valoil. Final score tonight, 41-23. As Colorado State falls to 2-2 on the season. Hurts, pretty good night. 248 yards passing and a couple of touchdowns. 41-23, the final score. Right now, we're going to send it to Mark Neely and Ray Bentley for San Jose State at Utah.